To the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today we end this trial by finding the justice of a crime that hits the very center of our safety and community, which is the crime of arson. We are not talking strictly about flames and the destruction it brings to homes and wildlife around us. We are also including the fact that arson brings a series of reckless endangerment to people and their lives, livelihoods, and the sense of security that we all need in our lives in order to live in a safe and orderly fashion. Arson has been around for a long time and has brought destruction to people's lives, whether it is destroying and burning down homes, grocery stores, gyms, schools, and more. It is also used as a weapon to hurt and destroy people, bringing on severe injuries such as first, second, and third-degree burns, which could also be seen as fatal to one's life. Arson has been known to be an unlawful act of setting someone's property on fire with malicious intent, and it has a long history intertwined with the evolution behind societies, laws, and the crime itself. During ancient times, fire was used as a resource to survive, especially in the wild, as well as a tool to destroy homes and setting people on fire to take their lives. The crime of arson was taken very seriously, and the punished were met with serious punishments, which included punishment by death or banishment, because those communities that were affected came together to protect their resources from those that caused the crime, especially with their resources that were limited due to the fire. Arson is seen as a crime because it includes the deliberate and malicious background of fires that could bring harm to others, destroy people's properties and homes, and threaten the safety of others and the public. It is also seen as a crime because while it could threaten one's life or multiple people, but because once someone sets something on fire, it becomes uncontrollable, causing it to spread rapidly and put lives at risk. While arson is used for a specific person or target, this can spread to innocent victims, including neighbors, bystanders, and first responders, which include firefighters and police officers. Since fire can result in people having multiple injuries as well as death, this can cause the perpetrator to face serious charges such as manslaughter and eventually murder if it comes to that point. Setting aside the threats to people and their lives, it can also bring a destruction of property, which causes homes, businesses, vehicles, and other buildings to be destroyed in the process of someone committing the crime and act of arson. These losses can bring homeowners an extreme amount of stress because they have to worry about having financial and emotional stress on their shoulders with rebuilding and buying new things in order to replace the damaged ones. Finally, arson is seen as a serious crime because of how fast it can spread, causing endangerment to entire neighborhoods, wildlife, which include forests, animals, mountains, and more, as well as towns and cities. Large fires that are caused by the acts of arson can be devastating to existing ecosystems as well as future ones, wildlife, and the air quality that humans need to breathe in order to breathe clean air. When talking about the appropriate punishments for arson, we need to consider the magnitude of the crime of arson, the intention behind it, and the consequences it could bring to the community. The appropriate punishments for arson vary based on the severity of the crime, the person's intent, and the jurisdiction. The law would need to consider the facts of the result, including property damage, injuries to a person or multiple people, and whether the crime was committed for financial gain or any other motives that the person had on their mind. When people are punished for committing arson, it is most likely seen as a felony. Depending on the state and the jurisdiction, sentences would range from 1 to 20 years, but it also depends on the severity of arson. For example, if it is aggravated, it could range from 10 years in prison to life in prison. But if it happened in wildlife, for example, wildfires, arson penalties are a lot harsher because of the widespread destruction it could bring to the environment. After stating the facts of arson and the destruction it brings to the community, it is simply stated not as an act of mere negligence. It is usually calculated, premeditated, and deliberately planned. It would give the offender comfort and stability of knowing that they just set something or someone on fire and watching it turn into ash and watching the fear on people's faces when they're running out of the building, fearing for their lives and trying to stay alive, as they should. The responsibility lies with you. You have the power to hold the defendant accountable for their actions, to ensure that justice is served, to deter future acts of senseless destruction. The evidence is clear, the law is clear. Now the choice is yours. On behalf of those affected and for the sake of our community, I urge you to return a verdict that reflects the truth and protects us all. Thank you for watching.